I said, "Get out of my house, Evelyn." His voice wasn't loud. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that slices deeper than screaming. I stood frozen in the doorway of our kitchen, grocery bags still hanging from both wrists, milk leaking through the bottom of one onto my shoes. Mark didn't even look at me when he said it. He was looking at her. Vanessa, 31, blonde, wearing the red silk robe I bought him for Christmas last year. She was sitting at my marble island, sipping coffee from my favorite mug, the one that says, "World's okayest wife," our daughter gave me as a joke 10 years ago. Mark finally turned. His eyes were cold, colder than the 40 winters we'd spent in this house together. "Evelyn." "I'm not asking." He stepped closer. "I'm telling." My mouth opened. Nothing came out, because the words I wanted to scream were stuck behind 40 years of swallowing them. Vanessa smiled. Not big, just enough, like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. "My name is Evelyn Brickey, and trust me, nothing about my life used to feel this cruel." I dropped the bags, eggs cracked. Orange juice rolled across the hardwood and stopped against Vanessa's bare foot. She didn't move it. Mark rubbed his forehead like I was the one exhausting him. "Vanessa's moving in. Tonight." He paused. "You're not." I laughed. It came out wrong. Broken, like a cough that wouldn't stop. "You're kicking me out?" My voice cracked on the last word. He didn't answer. He just looked at the floor. The same floor we picked out together in 1998 because I wanted something that would last forever. Vanessa set the mug down. Slowly. Deliberately. The clink echoed like a gunshot. I looked at her left hand. No ring, but there was a tan line. Fresh. My stomach flipped. Mark followed my eyes. His jaw tightened. He knew I saw it. "Evelyn, don't make this harder than it has to be." Harder than it has to be. 40 years, 2 kids, 1 miscarriage he never let me talk about. Cancer at 55 that he nursed me through while holding my hair and crying into the toilet with me. And now this. I took 1 step forward, the orange juice squished under my shoe. "When did it start?" My voice was steady now. Too steady. Mark opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Vanessa. She tilted her head. "Does the exact date really matter, Evelyn?" I stared at her, really stared. Something about her face, the way her eyes didn't blink long enough. I knew that face. I'd seen it before. But where? Mark grabbed my elbow. Not rough, but firm, like he was escorting a stranger out of a store. "Let's talk outside." "No." I yanked my arm away, harder than I meant to. He stumbled back half a step. Vanessa's smile disappeared, just for a second. Then it was back, tighter. I looked around our kitchen, the photos on the fridge, the dent in the wall from when our son threw a toy truck in 2004, the little chalkboard where I still wrote the grocery list in my shaky old lady handwriting. All of it suddenly looked temporary, like it had never been mine at all. Mark lowered his voice. "The kids already know." My heart stopped. Actually stopped. Emily, Jacob, my babies. "They know." He nodded once, slow. "Emily helped Vanessa pick out curtains for the guest room," he swallowed. "The one that's going to be hers now." I couldn't breathe. Curtains. My daughter helped pick out curtains for the woman replacing me. Vanessa stood up. The robe slipped open just enough to show the curve of her hip. She didn't fix it. "I'll give you 2 a minute," she said softly, like she was the bigger person. She walked past me. Her perfume hit me like a slap. It was my perfume. The one Mark bought me every year on our anniversary. She was wearing my perfume. I turned to watch her go. And that's when I saw it. On the counter, next to the knife block, a stack of papers, legal papers, with my signature already on them, but I never signed anything. I took 1 step toward them. Mark moved faster. He swept them into a drawer and slammed it shut. "Those are for later," he said quickly. Too quickly. My eyes locked on his. "What did you do, Mark?" He didn't answer. He just opened the front door and waited. I looked back at the kitchen one last time, at the life I built with my own hands, and I walked out, but not before I saw Vanessa standing at the top of the stairs, watching, holding something in her hand. A photo. Our wedding photo. She was holding it upside down and smiling. I got in my car, sat there, hands shaking on the wheel. That's when my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Just one line. You don't know who she really is, but I do. And then a photo. Vanessa, younger, standing next to a man who looked exactly like Mark, but 25 years ago. Same jaw, same eyes, only it wasn't Mark. The caption underneath the old newspaper article attached, "Local woman vanishes after marrying into wealthy family. Husband claims she left on her own. Police suspect foul play." The woman in the photo with the younger Mark look-alike was Vanessa, but 30 years older. My breath fogged the windshield, because the missing woman's name was Evelyn Brickey, my name. I stared at the phone until the screen went black. Then I threw it against the dashboard. It didn't break. Nothing ever breaks when you need it to. I drove to the motel off Route 12, the one with the flickering vacancy sign that's been flickering since 1987. I paid cash, used a fake name, because apparently my real one was already dead. I sat on the bed that smelled like old cigarettes and newer despair, and I opened the phone again. The article was still there, dated 1997, missing Evelyn Marie Brickey, age 318. Last seen leaving her home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, after argument with husband, Richard Brickey. Richard Brickey, Mark's real name. The one he told me he changed after his first wife abandoned him. He said she took all his money and ran off with a tennis instructor. He cried when he told me. Real tears. I married him 6 months later. I married a man whose wife disappeared, and then he married me and gave me her name. Evelyn Marie Brickey. That's why the legal papers already had my signature, because it was hers, from 30 years ago. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Then I sat on the cold tile and cried until my ribs hurt. My phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. This time a video. I pressed play with shaking fingers. It was Vanessa, in my house, in my bedroom. She was going through my jewelry box. She pulled out the pearl necklace Mark gave me on our 25th anniversary, held it up to the light. Then she looked straight into the camera and smiled. "I know you're watching, Evelyn." My blood turned to ice. She leaned closer to the lens. "There's only room for one Evelyn Brickey in that house." She kissed the pearls. "And it's not you." The video ended. I stared at the black screen. Then I dialed Emily, straight to voicemail. I called Jacob. Same. I called the house phone. Vanessa picked up on the second ring. "Brickey residence," she said sweetly. I couldn't speak. She waited, then sighed. "He's in the shower, Evelyn. Can I take a message?" I hung up, and that's when I noticed the envelope under the motel door. Plain white. My name typed on the front, in the same font as the legal papers. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a single Polaroid. Me, sleeping, taken from inside our bedroom, last night. On the back, written in red pen, "Tick-tock, Evelyn. Time to disappear." Just like the first one did. I screamed. The motel manager banged on the wall. I didn't care, because now I knew. This wasn't just about replacing me. This was about erasing me, completely. And they were already halfway done. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Vanessa holding my pearls, wearing my name, living my life. I checked out at 4 a.m., drove to the one place I swore I'd never go back to, the storage unit, the one Mark made me rent when we downsized 5 years ago. He said it was for holiday decorations. It wasn't. I opened the rusty door with the key I still had on my keychain, the one he forgot I kept. Inside were boxes, dozens of them, labeled in his handwriting. Taxes 1995 to 2000. Old photos. Evelyn's things do not open. I ripped open the last one. Inside were diaries, not mine, hers, the first Evelyn. Entries from 1996 to 1997. Her handwriting was almost identical to mine, because I'd spent years copying it unconsciously, trying to be the perfect wife he wanted. I read by flashlight, page after page. She wrote about the fights, the control, the way he made her doubt her own memory, how he slowly convinced everyone she was crazy, unstable, dangerous. The last entry was dated 3 days before she vanished. He knows about the insurance policy. He knows I changed the beneficiary back to my sister. He's angrier than I've ever seen him. If something happens to me, tell someone. There was a dried blood smear on the page. I dropped the diary. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't pick it up. That's when I found the USB drive taped to the inside cover, labeled, "For the next one." I plugged it into my phone with the adapter I found in the glove box. One video file, I pressed play. It was the first Evelyn, sitting in what looked like a basement, our basement. She was crying, makeup running, hair messy. She looked straight into the camera. "If you're watching this, you're me now," she laughed bitterly. "He found another one, another woman who looks just enough like me to keep the story going." She held up a marriage certificate, dated 1998, 6 months after she disappeared. My marriage certificate, with her photo photoshopped poorly over where mine should be. "He keeps us," she whispered, "like trophies." Then she leaned closer. "There's a safe behind the painting in the study. Combination is our anniversary, the real one. 6/14/96. Inside are the real documents, the insurance policies, the offshore accounts, everything he used my money to build." She started crying harder. "Whatever you do, don't confront him. He'll make you disappear too. Just take the evidence and run." The video cut to static, then started again. Same basement, same woman, but this time she was smiling. Too calm. "He thinks I'm broken," she said softly. She held up a positive pregnancy test. "But he doesn't know what I know." The video ended. I sat in that storage unit until sunrise, surrounded by the ghost of the woman I'd been married to a murderer to replace. And something shifted inside me. The tears stopped. The shaking stopped. I wasn't broken. I was furious. They think I'm the second victim. They have no idea I'm about to be the last. I started planning that same day, quietly, like a woman who had nothing left to lose, because I didn't. First, I went to the bank, used the old account Mark forgot existed, the one with my name only, from before we merged everything. There was $187,423.12 in it, money I'd been secretly saving for years, for emergencies. This qualified. Then I went to the library, used their computers, printed everything, the articles, the diaries, the video files, made copies, lots of copies. Then I mailed them, to the police, to 3 different news stations, to Emily and Jacob with a note that just said, "Watch these before you pick out any more curtains." Then I waited. 3 days. On the 4th day, Mark called. His voice was different, smaller. "Evelyn, can we talk?" I smiled into the phone. "Of course, honey. Come to the motel. Room 12. He showed up 20 minutes later, alone. No Vanessa. He looked old, older than I'd ever seen him. He sat on the bed like a man waiting for a death sentence, which he was. I closed the door, locked it. He noticed. "Evie, whatever you think you know." I held up the USB drive. His face went white. "Where did you—" "She left it for me, Richard." He flinched at his real name. I stepped closer. "The first Evelyn, the one you buried in the backyard under the rose garden." His mouth opened, closed. I kept going. "The one whose life insurance paid for this house, whose inheritance funded your business, whose identity you gave to the next lonely woman who looked just enough like her." I was close enough now to smell his fear. It smelled like the cologne he wore the day we met. "You thought I'd just disappear quietly, like she did." I pulled out the positive pregnancy test I'd bought at the dollar store, held it up. His eyes locked on the 2 pink lines. Fake. But he didn't know that. Only this time. "You created something you can't bury." He started crying. Actual tears. "I never meant—" "Shut up." I opened the door. 2 detectives were standing there. They'd been waiting in the room next door, with a warrant and shovels. Mark looked at me, really looked, like he was seeing me for the first time in 40 years. "You planned this?" I smiled. The same smile Vanessa gave me in the kitchen. Only mine was real. "No, honey." I leaned in close. "She did." They found her 3 hours later, under the roses, still wearing the red silk robe, the one I bought him for Christmas, the one Vanessa was wearing when she replaced me. Only it wasn't Vanessa. It was the first Evelyn, preserved perfectly, because Mark had her embalmed, like a doll. He kept her all these years. Vanessa. Vanessa was his daughter. The positive test wasn't fake the first time. She was 31, born 9 months after the first Evelyn disappeared. Raised to become her mother, trained to replace her, and then to replace me. The ultimate loyalty test. Mark confessed to everything. Sat in that interrogation room and cried like a child. Said he just wanted his wife back, the one who got away. So he made new ones. Again and again. Until one of us fought back. The news called it the Rose Garden Murderer. They interviewed me on TV. I wore the pearl necklace, the one Vanessa kissed in the video. I looked straight into the camera, and I said, "Some women plant flowers." I smiled. Some women become them. Then I walked away. Emily and Jacob showed up at my new apartment 3 weeks later. Crying, begging. I let them in. made them tea, with the mug that says, "World's okayest wife." They asked if I could ever forgive them. I thought about it. Really thought. Then I showed them the video. The one the first Evelyn made. The one where she said, "Whatever you do, make them watch." They watched. All of it. When it ended, Emily was on the floor. Jacob couldn't look at me. I knelt down next to my daughter, touched her hair, softly, like I did when she was 5. "You helped her pick out curtains," I whispered. She sobbed harder. I stood up, opened the door. "I think it's time for you to go." They left. I closed the door, locked it, and for the first time in 40 years, I took a deep breath that didn't hurt. The insurance money came through. Both policies, the first Evelyn's and mine. Mark had never changed the beneficiary back. I bought a small house, planted roses in the front yard. Red ones. Every year on June 14th, I leave a single white rose on the doorstep. For her, the first one, the one who started it all, the one who made sure the last one finished it. Sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear her whispering through the petals. "Thank you for becoming what I couldn't." What would you do if this happened to you? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching The Wordy Revenge. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of betrayal, justice, and redemption. Until next time, stay strong and never stop believing in your truth.